Have you ever had a moment that sliced your life into two distinct parts? The before and the after? Mine came at 12:07 a.m. on a freezing Tuesday in Chicago. I was lying in the dark listening to the wind howl off Lake Michigan when my phone buzzed on the nightstand. It was a number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it, but something pushed me to answer. A shaky voice whispered, "Is this Mark?" It was Sarah, my wife's younger sister. Her next words shattered the comfortable world I thought I knew. She said, "I'm so sorry, Mark, but you need to know what Megan is really doing on her business trips. Before you hear the rest of this story, the one that tore my life apart and rebuilt it into something cold and hard, do me a favor. If you enjoy stories about truth, betrayal, and the long, cold road to justice, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You won't want to miss what comes next." My wife Megan was my everything. We'd been married for 10 years, building a life in our cozy little brownstone in Lincoln Park. She was a high-powered consultant, always on the go, always closing big deals. I was a graphic designer, working from home, the stable foundation she could always return to. Or so I thought. Sarah's call was like a grenade tossed into our perfect little life. She told me Megan wasn't in San Francisco for a conference. She was at a boutique hotel downtown with someone named Alex, her boss. The air left my lungs. It couldn't be true. Not my Megan. But Sarah sent me a photo. A blurry picture of Megan laughing, her hand resting on another man's arm as they walked into the hotel lobby. Denial is a powerful anesthetic, but that picture was the jolt that woke me up. I felt a wave of nausea so intense I had to grip the edge of the bed. Every late night, every last-minute trip, every vague answer suddenly clicked into place like a sinister puzzle. I had been a fool, the worst kind of fool, a trusting one. The next few days were a blur of silent agony. I went through the motions, answering emails, walking our dog, but inside I was a ghost. When Megan came home, she was all smiles and gifts. She handed me a souvenir from her trip, a snow globe of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I almost laughed. Hypocrisy was breathtaking. She kissed me and I had to fight the urge to recoil. Her touch felt like a lie. Her perfume, the one I used to love, now smelled like deceit. That night, as she slept peacefully beside me, I started digging. Her work phone, usually guarded like a fortress, was left on her dresser. The password? Our anniversary. The irony was a bitter pill. I opened it, my hands trembling. There they were. Texts, photos, hotel bookings. Hundreds of messages with Alex. They weren't just flirty. They were a chronicle of a long-term passionate affair. They made fun of me, my quiet life, my predictable love. They called me the caretaker. I read until the sun came up, each message a fresh stab to the heart. The man in those texts wasn't the strong, confident husband I thought I was. I was a punchline. Humiliation burned through me, hotter than any anger I'd ever known. They had reduced my love, my loyalty, my entire existence to a joke. My world, once vibrant and full of color, had turned to gray ash. For about a week, I was a zombie. I lost weight. I barely spoke. Megan noticed, of course. She'd ask with that feigned concern she was so good at, "What's wrong, honey? You seem so distant." And I would just shake my head, unable to form the words, the sheer audacity of her question stealing my breath. But then, one morning, something shifted. I looked at my pale, hollowed-out reflection in the mirror and didn't recognize the man staring back. The despair was still there, a cold stone in my gut, but something else was growing around it. A cold, hard, diamond-sharp anger. They thought I was a joke? A simple, predictable caretaker? It's fine. I would show them just how unpredictable I could be. Revenge wasn't just a desire. It became a project. My project. And like any good designer, I began to plan meticulously. The first step was information. I used my design skills to create a fake email from a tech vendor, sent it to Alex, got him to click a link that installed a keylogger on his work computer. It was shockingly easy. Suddenly I had access to everything. His calendar, his emails, his private messages. I learned their routines, their favorite restaurants, their secret meeting spots. I was the ghost in their machine, watching their every move. The second step was finance. Megan and I had a joint account for household expenses, but we also had our own savings. I started moving money, small amounts at first, from our joint account into a new one I opened under my name only. I documented every transfer, every reason. I also contacted a lawyer, the best divorce attorney in Chicago, and put him on retainer. I paid him from my new secret account. The target for my revenge was a big charity gala their company was hosting. It was the social event of their corporate calendar. Alex was scheduled to receive a major award, and Megan would be right there, the proud partner, or so everyone thought. It was perfect, a public stage for their private shame. I spent weeks preparing. I compiled the most damning text messages, the most intimate photos, the reservation confirmations from their secret getaways. I packaged it all into a slick, professional-looking presentation, just like the ones Megan was so proud of. I even created a website, a digital shrine to their betrayal, ready to go live with the click of a button. The night of the gala arrived. I told Megan I was feeling unwell and couldn't make it. She feigned disappointment, but I could see the relief in her eyes. "Get some rest, honey," she said, kissing my cheek before she left, looking stunning in a dress I'd bought her for our anniversary. The caretaker was staying home. As she walked out the door, I felt a chilling sense of calm. The board was set. The pieces were in motion. I drove to the hotel, not the ballroom, but the tech booth overlooking it. I'd used my design portfolio and a bit of social engineering to get an all-access pass as part of the event's media team. From my perch, I watched them. Megan and Alex were inseparable, glowing, holding hands when they thought no one was looking. They looked like a power couple, and my stomach churned, but I pushed the emotion down. This wasn't about pain anymore. This is about consequences. The awards ceremony began. The CEO was on stage, singing Alex's praises. "A man of integrity, a true leader," he boomed. I almost laughed out loud. As Alex walked toward the stage, beaming, I made my move. I plugged my laptop into the main projection system. The tech guy barely glanced at me. On the massive screens behind the stage, the corporate logo dissolved. And then, our wedding photo appeared, followed by a text message from Alex to Megan. "Can't wait to get you away from the caretaker tonight." A confused murmur rippled through the ballroom. Megan's face went white. Alex froze mid-stride. Then the next slide hit. A photo of them kissing, taken from Alex's own phone. Then another and another. Texts detailing their lies, mocking their colleagues, laughing about me. The presentation played out in brutal, high-definition silence. I included screenshots of hotel bills charged to the company card, disguised as business expenses. It wasn't just an affair, it was fraud. The murmurs in the room grew into gasps. People were pointing, whispering. Megan looked desperately around, her eyes finally locking on the tech booth. She saw me. The look on her face wasn't anger or sadness. It was pure, unadulterated shock. It's a shock of a predator who has just realized it's been caught in a trap. I didn't wait for the fallout. Unplugged my laptop, walked out of the booth, and left the hotel without a backward glance. My phone started exploding with calls and texts from her family, from numbers I didn't know. I turned it off. The next day, my lawyer filed for divorce, citing infidelity and submitting the entire presentation as evidence. I also sent an anonymous tip, along with the proof of fraud, to their company's board of directors and the IRS. Both Alex and Megan were fired. The award was rescinded. Their affair, once a thrilling secret, was now a public disgrace. The aftermath was a storm I watched from a distance. Megan was ruined. Her career, her reputation, her social standing all gone. She tried to fight the divorce, but the evidence was overwhelming. The judge awarded me the house and a significant portion of our assets, given her blatant misuse of marital funds. Her sister Sarah called me once to apologize for her sister's actions. I thanked her and told her she had nothing to be sorry for. She had given me the truth, and the truth, no matter how painful, had set me free. Months have passed. The house is quiet now. The vibrant colors are slowly returning to my world, but they are different shades, more muted, more real. Sometimes I sit in the living room where Megan and I used to dream about our future, and I feel a profound emptiness. There was no triumphant roar of victory, no cathartic release. There was only the cold, quiet satisfaction of a job well done. They had turned my love into a joke, so I turned their lives into a cautionary tale. My revenge was perfect. It was devastating. It was absolute. And in the end, it left me completely and utterly alone. The end.